So we're continuing our discussion on the exploding pie chart, and we're looking at the XBasic function that computes the data for the custom series. So temporarily, let's just ignore this portion of the code over here, and we can see that we're creating an array initially with no entries in it, and then we're populating the array. So we have the first entry in the array has sales of 10, the region of East, and then exploded equals 0, and then let's just ignore this for the time being, and then we're just basically doing a dump properties from this array of sales, region, and exploded, which simply creates a CRLF delimited list, much like the list that we hand coded in the previous video. So if we just go there and put in a debug 1 and then look at what we have, we can see now that text is just a CRLF delimited list of values, and the first sub-series is 10, 20, 15, 8. The second is east, west, south, and north, and then the exploded one is zeros for everybody. So when I go there and run this now, there's no pie slice that has been exploded. So now when I double click, for example, on south, that causes an AJAX callback, and we'll discuss a little later on how that AJAX callback got done. But you can see now that the data series now has a 1 for the exploded value over there. So that's why now when we run this, basically the south is exploded. So let's go back now and let's move our debug 1 statement to the beginning of this function so we can actually examine in detail what's taking place. So I'm going to go back now to working preview again, and then ignore the initial display, and now double click, for example, on north, and now I can see that I'm in my AJAX callback, and inside the AJAX callback E gets passed in, and inside E we're looking to see if there's a value called JavaScript function result. So this would be some JavaScript that got computed on the client side before the callback took place, and when we go through here, we can see that there is in fact this variable has been defined, and it's telling us that the exploded slice number is number 3. So we'll discuss a little later on how this got set up, but just right now all we need to know is that when this pie is now being computed on the callback, we now know that we need to explode slice number 3. Since the slices themselves are 0 based, we need to actually add 1 to it, because the data element that we want to explode is element number 4. So now we go and set up our array as we always have done in the past, but now since the exploded slice number is greater than 0, we're going to go and change the array entry for number 4 to 1. And then when we dump out the data, you can see there that this now has a value of 1, so, which is causing that slice to get exploded. So the next thing we need to understand is, how did this happen? How did e.javascript function result get set up? So let's go and take a look at that now. So when we go back to design mode now, and we go to our, let me just turn off debug 1 there. When we go back to our properties, and we look at data series, and then we go and edit this data series, we can see that this custom series is based on an XBasic function called PyData, which we've been examining, but that this before this XBasic function is called on an AJAX callback, there's a JavaScript function that also gets called. So you can see here that PyData.js gets called before the callback takes place, and also you can see here that this XBasic function is going to return 3 subseries: sales, region, and exploded, which is what we've seen. So now let's go take a look at what's inside this JavaScript function. So let's pause now and pick this up in the next video.